This episode is sponsored by Supreme of the UK. Click the link in the description and support the podcast. Quote CFR at the checkout and receive 10% discount on your order.
1000% facts. So it's one of them, man. But all right, let's switch into the next topic. Now, this has been covered earlier on in the week, but we're gonna go on this now. Mizzy, the prankster. So
wait a minute. Is this the youth that's been going around jumping into people's cars and all this madness?
Yeah, him. So, it is noble when I look at this Mizzy, he's gone viral. The Piers Morgan interview, I watched it. I know it sounds bad, but I found that quite funny. The reason why I found it funny because you can see that he's got a lot of energy that just needs channeling.
Yes.
I'm going to break it down. He's got a lot of energy that just needs channeling. He was able to hold his own with Piers, even though he did look kind of stupid at moments. But that's down to his youth and his ignorance too. But I think the pranking world, what it is at one point in time, 2011, 12, 13, 14, about 14 to 15 is when the pranking world started to die down. But shock value ultimately is what puts eyes on social media. If you start up an Instagram page or a TikTok page, you have to stand out from the crowd. And as bad as it may sound, a lot of these young people are just looking, and it's became a competition of how low can you go?
Yeah.
What can you do to go viral? What's the most stupid thing you're willing to do to go viral? Now, of course, we know that the young man may have had a troubled past. All the rest of it, we know all of that, but we're isolating this to his acts.
Hey, whoa. So stop there, sibling, because you've obviously got some more detail than myself.
Yeah.
What do you mean by troubled past, and what would that have to do with now?
Okay, so when I say troubled past, on the Piers Morgan show, Piers Morgan asked the young man, what do your family think of your antics? For example, what does your mom think? And the young man answered the question by saying, I don't actually speak to my mom.
Okay.
So what I mean by that is this boy does not have guidance in his life, because if you don't speak to your own mother at that young age, there's an issue. So he's got no guidance. So you got to think he's running around trying to get seen, trying to get noticed by doing outrageous things. Now, do I agree with what he's doing? Of course I don't agree with what he's doing. I think he's an absolute idiot for doing these things. But we have to remember that social media has gotten to a place where we've made it about car crashes. We've made it about how low can you go. Why has it become that? It's become that because we have given an avenue to people who are willing to go low. That's the people who get the views. So you have to think to yourself, you can jump on social media and, Mizzy's this and Mizzy's that. But that's the lane that's been created. You are going to find people that are willing to do mad things to go viral. And he's just a product of that. People might turn around and say, people are being harsh on him and all this. Yeah, I get all of that. But that's what these youths have to do to go viral. Stupidity. Would I do it? No. Is it wise? Of course it's not wise. But that's what puts the eyes on these TikTokers and all of that. That's what gets them the eyes. When you look at someone like HS, Tiki Taki, a man whose whole platform is built around sleeping with women and doing all that lad stuff. And cool, do your thing. But when you make things like that go viral, you're putting an example out there that if someone else wants to get views, they have to do something outrageous. And that Mizzy...
So Mark, one moment.
Yeah.
So that last example you've given, what is he doing?
That HS Tiki Taki.
Yeah.
His whole thing's about like sleeping with women and having like STDs and all kind of stupidness.
Oh. So that like being promiscuous, like having loads of different women in essence.
Yeah, like he sleeps around heavy and like you'll have pictures of like girls in his bed and it's just nonsense. But he is massive. He's got all kind of, he's had a lot of trinkets from doing that. So if you're someone who's 13, 14 and you're trying to get in the game, let's say you're trying to see, how can I get viral? How can I get noticed? All the people at the top do outrageous things. So now you're going to probably say, well, maybe I jump in and do something outrageous to be seen. And that's what that Mizzy's doing. He's running around, he's being outrageous, and he hasn't got no guidance. And if you think about it, Tristan Tate's reached out to him. Keemstar from the States, these are both very, very rich people, have reached out and said, we want to like help channel his creativity. So you have to think
good.
Another 13, 14-year-old now who's looking at that can say, well, damn, he's done that and actually found an avenue. So how's that going to deter someone else from doing that? That's what I'm saying.
This is the big issue, man. Like, this shouldn't even be a thing. I can't wrap my head. I mean, we've all done stupid things. Yeah. We've all done stupid things. Now, I'm thinking, I even asked some of my brethren this a couple of weeks back, and I said, all the wildness that we used to do back in the day, do you think if we had, like, mobile phones with the level of technology that we've got today, i.e. not just a mobile phone, but a smartphone, do you think we would record that shit and put it on all the social medias and put it on YouTube and all that kind of... And every single one of them said, no. And I think one or two of them said, maybe record it for our viewing pleasure kind of thing. But putting it out there, like, what would be the purpose? Like, what would people think of us if we put the kind of madness out on, like, people aren't aware of, okay, like, there's all these millions of people, billions of people allegedly on this plane of existence. They all think like us. They've all got the same sense of humor. No, of course not. So you're doing this wild, dumb shit. People aren't going to say, yo, my youth, I saw that video, that's some dickhead business. What you doing? You're making yourself look bad. You're making your family look bad. And you're making us look bad. What kind of foolishness is that? Where's the people where's the brethren saying, nah, Mizzy, yo, that video was funny as hell still, but you want to hold that down, boss. What if my man had a thing in there and just lick off your head or something? What if my you know what I mean? There's consequences, man. I get it, but you might want to just, hold it down. Rather than, no, what's the next one, man? When's the next video coming out? What madness you going to get up to next? Big man, yeah, man. Yeah, I like that video still, man. That was funny, man. You had me in stitches, man. When you coming out with the next video? All of this gratification, all of this fulfillment, all of this like co-signing rather than chastisements. Like, you're an idiot, mate. Carry on. You're gonna do that to the wrong person. Oh, you're gonna I'm Uber. Yeah, I'm an Uber. Lock the door, drive off somewhere, and then we see in the newspaper Mizzy flipping, YouTube, TikTok prankster found dead somewhere because flipping this happened. There's consequences, man. We can't allow this. And this is this is what I mean by people really need to be careful of what they're ingesting, especially for the youth, man, with this young, impressionable minds. Just think the stuff that you did as a young 12-year-old for the listeners who are 30 or upwards. Just think of the stuff you were doing. They're doing more than that now. You've got youths walking out in the middle of a dual carriageway and expecting cars to stop and scowling at you and stuff. Like, what? Who's raising these people? Outside of the blood family, what happened to people checking? No, because people can't check nobody these days because the youth are that feral that you've got to look out for your own safety. Man are carrying big long machetes in their damn tracky bottoms.
No, but
pulling them out.
No, but you're speaking straight facts upon facts. So apologies to cut you there because everything you're saying is facts. However, you're speaking through a lens of a very mature, sensible person. It's common sense. We would like to believe it's common sense, but it's not. Common sense is not so common. So the facts are this. There's a lot of excuses being made. When excuses get made, it kind of excuses the person's behavior. All I've seen since Mizzy has been out in the public eye is people making excuses. We don't know how he grew up. Oh, we don't know. We don't know what his personal life's like. Oh, we don't know. Oh, we don't know how hard it is for him. We need to stop doing that. We need to start equipping the youth, regardless of race, to understand that there is no excuses. There is no excuses. And the sooner we start to do that, the better. And what do I mean by that? Let me give you an example. A man like Mizzy will be reading the comments of people talking about how young he is and, how hard his past has been. And know that I can do it again and blame those same reasons. But you know what I would say to somebody like Mizzy? I would say to Mizzy, it doesn't matter what your upbringing was like. It doesn't matter. Because the system don't care about the circumstances regarding the act. The system solely care about the act. And this is what a lot of young people need to understand. The system don't care. The system only looks at what you did. That's it. So with Mizzy, when everyone's saying like, the backlash has been heavier because it's black, that is not true. The backlash is heavy because of the outrageous things that he is doing. But when you give him an excuse, you're then excusing the behavior. What he's doing is dangerous and it's unprogressive. Because if he goes into the wrong home, somebody may attack him. Because when you're talking about a person's home, you're talking about people who got children, pets, valuables, all kind of things that they want to protect. Never mind their own safety.
Exactly.
So if I go downstairs in my home and randomly see somebody who I don't know what I'm liable to do. Now, you don't know, you may go and, something could end up things could end up going tragic. Now, if that happens, you have to look at what set off that set of events. And that's by you going into people's house that you had no business going into. And at that point, there's no excuses. If you're sitting down in Mizzy's funeral, God forbid, what are you going to say? There's no excuses about his upbringing. Like, we have to stop this way of thinking. This way of thinking of always believing that there's an excuse for our actions. You have to understand that consequences, very serious consequences, can come with running into someone's house, can come with picking up an elderly person's dog, can come with physically jumping over a member of the public. There are consequences that can come with that. It doesn't matter what his upbringing was like. the British public won't accept pranksters like that. They won't. It's not something that can fly here. But we have to stop taking the conversation away from the act. It's dangerous because you're excusing someone who can actually learn. Mizzy can actually learn and understand, because with all the excuses that are being made, if you really look at it, he's gone back out and done the same thing and been arrested again. Whereas if people explain to him and give him an understanding, he may change the direction of his content. But as long as people keep giving that young man an excuse, he will continue to behave the same way. But he will not be given many more chances. So people need to stop this finding excuses. It has to stop. It's quite sad when I see so many members of the public doing that. Like there's no excuse for running into a person's home. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you think about, oh, well, back in the day, he had problems and he hasn't been. No. You don't run into people's house no matter what. For content or otherwise, you don't do that, because the wrong home, it could end bad. And this is why I say, when all these young people get stabbed and all that, and straight away, as soon as they get stabbed, they find the best picture of them in a suit, and, oh, he used to go to church and he used to help all these people cross the street. And the number one question I ask myself is, well, how did he end up getting killed? Did somebody just walk up to him and stab him for no reason? Now, I know that does happen, but let's keep it real. That's few and far between. We have to call out nonsense. We have to do it. Nonsense has to be called out. Foolishness has to be called out. Making excuses for these things keeps these things going. People are laughing. Listen, this could end really bad, And all we're talking about is, oh, well, what about his previous life? Nobody cares. No one cares about your previous life, and you think you've had it so hard. And all I'm saying is this. Listen, England is not a place. This is a place where you can get out of bed and not have no plans for the week, the month, the year, and still eat a hot meal.
Exactly.
Understand that. There's man from our home countries, yeah, who don't know when they're going to eat again. So I'm fed up of hearing about how hard his background has been and all of this. It don't mean, and I understand, there's certain things in life that can force your hand. I get it. But you're giving this young man excuses, man. And that's why he keeps going back. And the thing is, he's very, he could easily channel that stuff, into proper content. But because people it's hard discussing these things, Noble, because people do not like to isolate the act. This is not me chastising or attacking a young black man. This is me saying that this boy, needs to hear reality talk. That's what I call it. If you see people doing stupid things, you need to call it out. Not because you're attacking them, but because they may learn from it and it may prevent a bigger issue from happening down the line. If I see youngsters doing certain things, no one could ever say, I don't call that nonsense. If I see younger people or even older people or whatever doing certain things, I'll always say, yo, be careful of that particular thing, because this is how that can end up. I always say it. Just think, even if I'm speaking to a man on a personal level, I'll always say, yo, just be careful, because try not to have no regrets with that, because I know how life can end up. Not to say I don't know it all, but I'm just saying, with the moves that he's doing, I just think it needs to be called out, and we've got to stop making it about, oh, he's a young man and all that. No, he ran into people's house when he shouldn't have. It doesn't matter what his past was like. It doesn't matter none of that. It matters that he ran into people's house. Luckily, it was people that, didn't really...
Weren't violence?
Exactly. There you go. What are you saying, Noble?
Hey, so all right then. So let's examine the old lady with the dog. A pet is a very precious thing. Anyone who's owned a dog, a cat, they're part of the family, man. At a certain point, they're still a pet, but they're part of your family. They're the feline or canine, element of your family. Now, as an older person as well, older people have attachments. That dog would have been very precious to that old lady, and it didn't happen. But what if she had a heart attack? A young black male comes up to her. She's already a bit digi based upon what she sees on the news and stuff and all of the stereotypes. And he grabs her dog and she has a heart attack. Was that prank video then worth it? Yeah, little old lady and her dog, and now she's had a heart attack. Maybe even didn't even survive. The dude in the car, oh, this is Uber. What if on the first attempt, and as he's getting out of the car, and my man's getting back in, and he jumped back in, he just said, oh, loud this, he's going to try and rob me or something, and starts driving off, and he gets caught up in the seatbelt and gets dragged on along the road and gets disabled or, permanently disfigured. Was that prank then worth it? Him running into the house. All this news, people are doing home invasions. People are doing home invasions, as they call them in America. They're running into the houses. They're doing kick doors, and they're running up into spots, into people's homes. Sometimes it's the wrong home as well. Bad intel. And then someone's got to defend the case. There's, who is this person in my house? Yo, make I get this saucepan? Make I get this pot? Make I get this whatever? And they're going to do the person down biggity to get them out of their property. Was that video then worth it? Surely that would have been put up on YouTube, because it would be prank went wrong then, right? These are the consequences of you doing pranks and people reacting. Like, he's not talking to his mother. Okay, something has gone on there. Maybe, most mothers and fathers will say, yo, don't touch that. It's hot, hot, hot. And if you touch it, what happens? You burn yourself, right?
Exactly.
Consequence to actions. Like, we now, I know we're at a point where they've manicured society and degenerated to society to a point where, okay, it's all about me. I see the fuckery going on, but because it's not directly affecting me and they're not my family, I'm not going to say a thing. We've gone so far away from even being in a community, having a community, even take color lines out of it. Where is the community where someone would say, yo, whoa, hold up, don't do that. That's wrong. Does the person who's about to cross the road ignore the tramp saying, yo, wait a minute, mate, there's a car coming. Now you're a tramp, I don't want to listen to you. Goes into the road and gets licked over. Like, we've got to listen to the people, them, if they're giving us advice. Whether you want to take the advice or not, hear the advice, man. No, I don't listen to people. I'll just cross the road myself. Yo, mate, watch out, there's a car. No, I don't listen to people. And you get licked over. Oh, well, what happened? Yeah, I just walked out into the road still. Someone said something, but I didn't want to listen to them. Oh, so you wanted to commit suicide? No, I just thought that he would stop in it, because I'm a pedestrian and motorists are supposed to yield to pedestrians. So if I did not see the car, then they should have stopped anyway. No, it doesn't go like that, mate. And someone tried to warn you and you ignored them. Are you all right in the head? At this point, people will be like, should we do some kind of like studies, evaluation to see if you're okay? Because that's not normal behavior. You sounds like you want to kill yourself or something.
And it's the car crash mentality, Noble. This is a big major part of this. The car crash mentality. What's the car crash mentality? People watch car crashes for entertainment. If you're driving and you see something cordoned off and there's two cars mash up, you will always slow down to have a look. And then you continue about your day after you pass it. Now that's what this type of content is. It's car crash content where people do mad things, and don't get it twisted, you know. I'm a realist. I was subscribed to a lot of them prank channels back in the day, the USA ones, where a man would just go into Brooklyn and walk up to people and say, yo, you want to fight, bro?
Yeah.
And you'd be saying, yo, this dude's a madman. Them videos got millions of views. And guess what? That was the fastest way to build a YouTube channel at one point. Yes. All them guys, the big 10 million plus guys on YouTube, FouseyTube and all them mans, they all come from pranks. Fatboy SSC, all these different guys come from prank videos. Because prank videos, when you do car crash content, you're guaranteed to get the views. So youths who are trying to come up and make money and make waves, they're doing this kind of content. But then that's an issue, but that's not the issue. The issue is when they do it, we can't make excuses. And that's all I've seen this week is excuse after excuse. Excuse after excuse. Oh, well, this, that, and oh, well, he needs a chance. And I get all of that. But we have to focus on what could have been. Like Noble said, a dog, a cat, they're like part of people's family. You pick up an old woman's dog, she could have easily had a heart attack. I remember seeing this old lady a couple years back, long time ago now. It was an early morning. I think we had ran out of cereal or something. We're talking a time when I was living at my parents'. Ended up running to the shop. An elderly woman had a dog, and the dog got knocked over. And when the dog got knocked over, you want to see this woman's reaction. It was almost, and don't get it twisted, it was like, yo, she was like, oh my God. Like she was like shaking almost. Well, she was. And I'm saying, you got to imagine, let's say someone just picked that dog up and ran off with it. That's like someone picking up a child and running off with it. So you have to think what could come from that. That Mizzy, I get it, he's a youngster. I get it, he's probably had some tough times. I get all of that. But he needs some real guidance, man. And I hope whoever picks him up or aligns themselves with him because of his fame and because of the madness that he's willing to do, gives him an understanding that, yo, you can't live like this, young man. You cannot. You cannot. Because, listen, people have to understand, just because you are somewhere today, that don't mean, matter of fact, let me reword that. Where you are today, you won't be tomorrow.
Yes.
Just understand that. And that goes for everyone across the board. Where you are today, you won't be tomorrow. Life happens that fast. Life happens that fast. Where something you do today can affect tomorrow. To the point where tomorrow you're going to be saying, damn, if I knew all of that. I always give the example of Giggs. Giggs was running around Peckham, you know, involved in certain things, getting himself arrested and things like that. And then a few years later, he had a buzz in UK rap that was unlike anything you had ever seen before. Now that buzz was so big at the time in 2008 that Giggs was one of the first UK rappers that was getting genuine interest from America. But guess what? He couldn't go there. He could not go there for a long time. It took years for him to be able to go there. And he even said it. Bugsy Malone's another one who said it. And I give the example of these guys because that's who these youths know. just because you are somewhere today, again, let me reword it. Where you are today, you won't be tomorrow. So you have to live your life knowing that. Don't go and give yourself some criminal record for no reason. Now, somebody slaps your mom in her face, God forbid, that's worthy of a criminal record. But don't give yourself no criminal record because of some stupidity. Now you can't even go to the States, China, Australia. You can't go to none of these regions where you may need to be one day. Or even enter certain positions, you may need to work with children one day.
Yeah.
Like, stop blocking your future blessings by doing stupidity today. I keep telling these man, long-term vision. Your life is a long road. Your life is just think of your life as a long main road that runs through Europe. You can't see what's ahead of that road. So you need to make decisions based on that. You don't know if going up, you're going to drive along that road. There could be a roadblock.
Mm-hmm.
You need to put yourself in the best possible position to navigate that roadblock. So things like, the biggest trick that I've seen is how a lot of, let me keep this thing 1,000, how a lot of black youth have been tricked into thinking crime and things like that is a good thing. Because what that does is it keeps them getting criminal records. Even if you just got a criminal record based off of a light assault or a light robbery, that stays on your record. So moving forward, no matter what it is you're trying to do, when they give you that enhanced DBS check, that can always be a reason not to give you an opportunity. That can always be a reason for you not to go through a door. You know how refreshing and easy it feels when someone says, yo, could you pass that enhanced DBS check? Yeah, of course I could. You know how nice that feels? Because that means no one can stop me walking through no door based on no paperwork. And I just wish some of my younger brothers out there would understand this. Stop ruining your future. Stop putting yourself at a disadvantage. That's all you're doing. All you're doing. It's like all you're doing is, it's like throwing a man in that boxing ring with an eye patch on. That's what you're doing to your life. And all I'm saying is someone like Mizzy, if that was my little brother, I'd be talking to him just like how I'm talking now. Yo, that content you've got, you've got talent, and let me explain why you've got talent. Because you've overcome a hurdle that most people can't overcome, which is to even be able to create content.
Yes.
You're not shy in front of a camera. You're willing to create content. You're willing to go the extra mile. So apply that to something that makes sense and you'll win. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. Apply it, get a structure, work out some sort of content management thing, work out some sort of, do a storyboard, do short skits, do whatever you need to do. You can even make skits like that and fake it. Fake it. Find someone. No, I know what you're saying, but I hear what you're saying. But
no. I'm going with you that you see. But what you're now talking about is moving it from the instantaneous. Okay, yeah, man, I can put myself out on camera to actually creating, being a creative, as you say, putting a storyboard together. Like, you know what? I don't even need to do this real. I can get flipping my next door neighbor, give him 50 quid, and tell him just to act like this. Film it, put it up there, bless it. No one's getting hurt. No one really knows. Maybe in a year's time, I can reveal that, you know what? All those pranks, they're in on it. That's my neighbor.
No, but don't even need to do that. You don't even need to do that. Look, when people pay their money to go cinema and eat popcorn and watch a movie, they know it's not real. So what you do is, you put a little disclaimer at the start of the video. Look at Jackass, half of that stuff weren't real. but it ended up being a multi-million-dollar brand. So all I'm saying is, if you want to create content like that, there's ways of doing it. Just do it as an acting thing. Hire actors off Star Now. There's a website called Star Now for people that don't know. Very good website. Actually, one of the creators of the website, I had a back and forth dialogue with a few years ago because I left a really good review of the site, and the review was that good that my man reached out. And what I'm saying is, you can go on Star Now. There's actors on there that are willing to work for free, and you can stage things like that. But maybe Mizzy don't even know that. You see what I'm trying to say? Like, so that's why I say, instead of giving that young man excuses, show that young man a different lane. Yo, you don't need to do all that, you know. That same woman with the dog, you could have paid an actor to do that. And then made it appear real, but there's a disclaimer.
Yeah.
You could have did that, or you could have, you know what I mean? Or the Adventures of Mizzy, or the Outrageous Life as Mizzy. You could look at the Mr. Bean stuff. Yo, look at the Mr. Bean stuff. Have you watched the new Mr. Bean that's on Netflix?
Oh yeah.
With the B. With the B.
Yes.
Have you seen that? Okay, now understand that Mr. Bean, Roman Atkinson, or Ronan, whatever his name, Rowan Atkinson.
Rowan Atkinson. Yeah.
Rowan Atkinson. Yo, Mr. Bean has made one of the most legendary lanes for himself. My man's branding is out of this world. My man's whole show was based off of him being an absolute idiot.
Yes.
Like, remember this man, that bee thing, my man damn near mashed up the whole house trying to kill that bee. Now, look at that level of entertainment. Now, all I'm saying to these youths is, you could do that same thing, you know, but just with your style of content.
Exactly.
And remember, you don't even have to focus. What a lot of, it buns me so much, but what a lot of black youth are failing to understand right now is the doors are opening up for the UK, meaning the European market, they're starting to lock into what's going on here. We're like the forerunners of European urban culture. So Germany, France, Poland, all these places are looking at us. So if you look at people like Chunks and Philly and people like that, they're massive in those markets. So a boy like that, aim it at those markets. Content like that, aim it at those. But because he don't know these things, so he's running around doing all this madness, and then all these excuses are getting made. It's like boys in school. So like, let's say you had boys in school, yeah? Like, you got boys in school who get in trouble. You got two kind of parents. You got the parents who are gonna, my son didn't do that. My son didn't do that. I don't care what you say. My son wouldn't do that. Then you got the other parents who are gonna discipline the children. You know which child learns? The one who was disciplined. You know which child don't learn? The one who you made excuses for. So what happens with the one who you made excuses for? He now knows, well, damn, the authority figure, which is my mom, gave me a pass. So I don't care about none of these teachers or none of that. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go harder because my mom will continue to give me an excuse. So guess what happens then? That youth now becomes way more unruly, and his mom is his defense mechanism right up until the person she's defending against is a judge or a police. And guess what? At that point, you can't defend against them people. So now at that point, what that person then, what then happens is, my son wouldn't do that. Well, miss, your son did do that, and I'm going to lock him up. Now, that excuse don't work because you've ignored everything else he done before. Whereas this person who was disciplined understands, yo, I need to navigate different.
Exactly.
And this is the problem.
Cause.
Yeah, man, this is the problem. So that's why excuses need to stop being made for people like Mizzy, because he ain't learning. And look, 2-3 days later, what happened? Got arrested again. Got arrested again because we made excuses for that young man. All people did is, anyone who tried to give him any kind of accountability was shut down immediately. Anyone who tried to,
you hate him, bruv.
You're hating on his views. Yeah, you know, he's a young man. He's had a hard upbringing, and this is another thing. This notion that life is supposed to be easy. Listen, life will never be easy for no man born of his mother. Like, I don't understand what people don't understand. Everyone has their own individual struggles.
Yes.
Some people might have struggles financially. Some people might not have no struggles financially, but have poor health. Some people might have great health, but have a brother or cousin that they love very much who's got poor health. Nobody's just living a cakewalk. Like, we have to get out of this thing of like, yo, I was growing up. Yeah, but like, just because you didn't have every pair of Jordans that came out, just because you couldn't buy every game console, that is not a hard upbringing. Like, I'm fed up with like, you know what I mean? I'm fed up with like, when everyone was going McDonald's and ordering the 20-piece nuggets, I had to get the 6. That's not no struggle. That ain't no struggle. Like, we need to stop this, man. Yo, listen, I'm gonna tell you where my mind's at. Yeah.
What if it was a struggle? So okay then. So your friend could buy 20 bucks nuggets and you could only buy just the standard 6. Okay, so what? And
because we're making it where that's a problem. What we're doing, no, but we're making it where that is a problem. That is a struggle. We're turning things into a struggle. But you see, with me, I understand the universe, and when the universe gives me humbling lessons, I accept them, and you know what I mean, and I accept these lessons as they come. So I'm gonna give you an example. The other day, I was complaining about something very small, very minute. I was complaining about something. It was like something dumb, like my SD card in the GoPro would something. It just pissed me off. And as I jumped onto Instagram, I seen this young lady who I had recorded some content with probably 10 years ago. And she's got an uncurable bone cancer.
Yes.
She's unable to work and provide for her 2 children.
Oh no.
And she had to put a GoFundMe link up.
Oh. Ooh.
Now, when I seen that, there's 2 things I said to myself. The first thing was, imagine how hard it would have been for her to publicly ask for help.
I know.
Imagine that, because you know what I mean? I don't know. I couldn't overcome that. I couldn't do it. But she was able to do that, and I can imagine how hard that was, A. And then B, imagine your whole life just being turned upside down like that, to where you can't change what's happened. It's an uncurable bone cancer. You just have to roll with the punches.
Yeah.
Now, I think, in life, if we continually complain about the cards we've been dealt, and if we continually moan about the positions we're in, and we never ever express any gratitude or express any sort of appreciation for the position that we're in, I think sometimes we can end up in a position that humbles us. Now, I'm not saying that young lady's in that position for that reason, but I'm saying, while I'm walking my road in life, which is a very short road for all of us, I'm going to be thankful for the things I do have, and I'm going to stop looking at the things I don't have. You know why? Because I'm not in a position where I need to be looking what I don't have. And I don't think many of us are in that position. Sometimes I challenge. Last thing, and then jump straight in. I challenge anyone listening to this right now. Look at your personal life. Write down everything good and then write down everything bad. If that good list outweigh that bad list, you're in a blessed position. Go true noble.
Listen, I'm loving I'm loving where the conversation is going, and trustfully, people are gonna take heed. I know, I'm being very cup overfloweth, and I'm saying 90% of the siblings tuning in now and will be tuning in later. They got this, and if they haven't, they're making their way to this. But we got people, as you say, like we're in the brains of the beast, the UK, Britain, Brumtown, 0121, right? And we've got it good, man. We have got it good. There are some trials, tribulations, some speed humps, some diversions, some car accidents at some times, but we got it good, man. Go to our homeland and look at the systems that are in place for people. There's no dole, like there ain't no job seekers, universal credit, paying council tax, giving houses. There's none of that thing going in. Let's go to South America, to another developing country and landmass. Man are surviving on £4.50 a week for a family and shit. You've got parts of Manila where they're eating what's it called? Bang chow, which is leftover foods from restaurants which they recook to eat and sustain themselves. Who do you know in England is eating out of bin, sibling?
Nobody, not even one person I know.
Come on, man, this is the craziest thing. We got food, clothing, shelter. Now let's not get it twisted. The fuel element, we are in a cost of living crisis. I get it, man. We're definitely all being squeezed to a point, but we still got these things. Who's going hungry? I went to school. Going back in the day, I went to school, and everybody in school, some people had issues. You talk and you see dysfunctional families and all that. Out of all of the different various schools I went to across Brum, there was one boy who was literally, his whole family was totally dysfunctional, and he was a tramp. Not through any fault of his own, but because his family. He come to school in the same susser clothes, stinking to high heaven, fingernails blacker than anything, and he wasn't even getting fed, sibling. He was coming in and he was munching on the things, you know what I mean? They knew, and they was giving him extra because they knew he wasn't getting fed at home. Now that's an anomaly. Out of all of my education, I came across one person like that. Now we're in the growing year of 2023, as I say. You've got food banks, which was non-existent when we were coming up. Food banks where you can go and say, yo, it's tough. I need some pasta, some beans, and all that shit. And there's multiple of these damn food banks you can go to. We have not got it hard, boss. Needs and wants. Like, listen. Good list and bad list, or needs and wants. We're marketed luxurious goods, luxurious holidays, fancy cars and shit. Okay, yeah. The ego, okay, yeah, man, I wouldn't mind having that, yeah, if I was in a financial position. But if you're not in that financial position, get your damn mind right, man. You're working, you're paying your bills, you've got a beautiful empress or emperor, you know what I mean? You've got children, if so, and you're living, right? You got transportation. What is there bad? Where is there a good side and a bad? There's a pure good. Where's the bad? And if there is anything bad, sort it out, address it. If your one ship isn't how it should be in your eyes, have that conversation and get it right. There was nothing for us to be, oh, woe is me. I grew up one parent household. You know, had the most money. We didn't go on holiday. Okay, and you can do it now though, right? Your mom still loved you, right? She still provided, gave you guidance, love, nurtured you, and put you in a position where you can then step out into the big wide world and do for self. And if you have been a failure, that's nothing to do with anybody else, but except for you.
Yeah, 1000%.
You did that there, not nobody else. Oh, you know, we only had 2 meals a day and stuff, and you know, I could only wear Gola. I couldn't get no Nikes and stuff because we were that. Okay, and
You
so
still
you
had
work
shoes.
your ass off. Exactly, you still had damn shoes. Oh, I had the plastic ones, you know, the Indian man ones. They only last 2 weeks, and I've had them trainers as well. And so what? I don't wear them now.
And you know, another major thing. Another major thing is this thing of even children. A child shouldn't even know about any type of financial difficulty. Meaning, that child should just be a child. You're creating a world for them to live in, and while they're a child, we need to keep them as children. We need to ensure that they don't understand none of the hardships we're going through. They're not supposed to. And one thing, you know, what a lot of parents are doing today, especially single moms, is telling children, you know, we're broke. We don't have much. We don't have anything. So what then happens is that child then starts looking at himself. I ain't got nothing, I'm broke. But really, no, you ain't. Your mom is. You're just growing up with your mom. But when you put that pressure on a child, it can kind of force them into thinking they need to provide. It can kind of force them into thinking, well, I need to grow up fast. I need to make money. That's an issue. A child shouldn't know anything about that. We should always focus on, and I know bad things happen. This is life. Bad things are always going to happen. But we have to focus on the positive. We have to. If you focus on the negative, you will attract more negative, and you'll start to look and have a negative mindset. Yeah. And at some point, and I understand negative things happen, we'll always focus on negative things. We can always discuss negative things, but we also need to understand what's going right, what's good. You know, I can breathe. I'm talking, there's a quote that comes from Yard. From life ain't lost, nothing ain't lost. Like, this is what I'm trying to say. People have to understand, you know what I mean? You got to stop comparing yourself to social media, comparing yourself to people who appear as though everything's perfect. You can't live your life that way. You have to live your life away knowing that, there's ups and downs. When you understand that, because it's not everything. I know the society paint out like money's the be all and end all, but actually that isn't. That's very, very far from the truth. Mm-hmm. I can tell you that right now. I'm not no millionaire or nothing like that, but I can tell you that that's very far from the truth. There's other things that become problems. If your only issue is money, you're actually in a blessed position.
Any sibling.
This is what I'm saying, but because these things ain't taught to these youths, like that Mizzy, I see that Mizzy. I understand nuisance, pestilence, all the rest of it, but I see someone who's able to create content, channel it, and do something properly. But because we're too busy making excuses, we're not able to tell him that. So we can easily fail him by not telling him that. He has to understand. Just like with me, look, I'm going to tell you the facts. When I started out doing this, as in content, forget content, when I started picking up a camera, first camera I had, it was something that I got from an airport, a little Sony with a little mini disc in it.
Okay.
But I used to work on this set. I used to could do sound with the little Zoom sound device. I was very good. I could hold the boom pole and get sound. I could get perfect sound. So I ended up getting a little job. Got this little job every Sunday working on an Asian movie set It was based up at Star City. They used to film these movies and show them at Star City. This was something that was happening a lot back in the day. So I was doing this sound. When it all wrapped up and it was finished, may not have told this story before. The guy who was in charge of the set, the movie done that well down the line that my man says, yo, Mark, I'm going to give you my camera. Now, this ain't no little small camera. This is the camera that I would have known costs multiple thousands. This ain't no cheap camera. This ain't no £500, £800, £1,000. No. We talking in excess of 3-4 grand for everything. My man just give me that. He just said, yo, just hold. That's you. I don't need it no more. I'm getting a new one. That's you. I want you to start your journey like that. You know what that did for me? Every time I'm reeing up my camera, the last camera goes to someone free of charge.
You see
who's upcoming in the game. Someone who's upcoming or who wants to learn gets that camera. The person who's upcoming, so I tell you straight, I talk it raw. We got new cameras now, and the last camera went to my barber because I went in there and he's trying to learn how to film haircuts and get himself on social media and do it. So I said, yo, this camera's yours. What you do now is up to you, but I'm changing my camera. This is yours. Learn what you're doing and start filming and doing all of that. But I said, the only thing I want you to do is keep the trend going. You do the same for someone else.
Yeah.
Now, do you understand? That's something that a man done for me. And I feel like I'm obligated now to do that because he didn't need to do that.
It's a blessing, man. You're passing on the blessings. Not just in words, not just in jewels, spiritual jewels, etc. You're physically passing on a blessing, which will enable someone to create something. You know what I mean?
There you go. And maybe one day, like I said, matter of fact, this is the time for me to actually boast a little bit. So, Mitch from Birmingham, the rapper. So I get a clip earlier in the week. He's done a clip. And he's talking about how he started his rap career. And the man's talking about me, bigging me up, saying, yo, my man took us to the studio for the first time. So what I'm going to do, I want to play this right now.
Let's see it.
I want to play this right now because this is a rapper who's gone on to actually be my favorite rapper from Brum. Never asked him to do this, none of that. I just seen the video. And I was like, wow, my man's picking me up like that.
That's good. That's real, that is. Real, recognize real.
All right, let's see this.
There was a guy called Hatman. There was a shop in Birmingham City Centre called Hatman. They used to sell all the hats and all the gloves and all the American stuff. And he took me and my brethren to the studio for the first time as youths. We used to rap studio time and make CDs, and we'd have our own CDs and stuff like that. You get me? He influenced, man. He helped man out as youths. He used to pick man up from our house, take us studio. I'll never forget that.
You hear that, Noble? Did you hear it?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So, you got to think he's gone on now, to have a career in rap. He's signed professionally. He's made songs with Fredo. He's made songs with DWE. He's gone on to have a career. Now, this is a guy who, in Brum, people would always speak negatively of, but genuinely, my interactions, my man was a solid guy. My interactions with him has always been like that, and I remember when that was my pleasure to help them mans out as kids, because at the time they were too young to drive, and I knew they had talent, and I had links to the studio, so it was a no-brainer. I helped them. They could have been on road selling drugs. I'm like, nah, let me bring them through. I'd help them. I was somewhat like a manager for them at the start. And all your faves, there's stories I could tell you with all your faves in, bro. And he's just one of the first who's publicly gone on record to give man that little, you know what I mean? To give that big up. And this is what I'm trying to say. Like, you see what I mean? So this is what I'm trying to say to you, know, but like a lot of the work's been put in, and I just think when you have a certain mindset, so like you got a mindset, a certain pattern. So if you know to yourself, yo, a man done that brother done that for me, so that just means I want to do that now for somebody else. And I've seen it in other, I can give other examples, but I'm just saying that's the kind of trends that I want to be involved in. And that's it. And this is what I'm saying. And that Mitch, look how his man went on record and said that, yo, my man, you know, he was the one. I showed them how to structure 16 bars, chorus. I told them how to do the ad-libs, all of that. Because I knew one day that UK scene would take off.
Yeah.
And these youths have to understand, you know what I mean? They've got to understand that there's a skill to this thing. This is a business.
Mm-hmm.
And now, look, man, got signed. So for me, and then another one I worked with is Socks. See what I mean? I've worked with a few of them. Worked with a few of them. Socks is the next one. He said something publicly the other day as well. I'll see if I can pull that one up.
It's good to hear the because you know you're doing your thing, but it's good to have it reconfirmed publicly. You know, because a lot of things are done behind the scenes and people don't know nothing because, you know, man don't talk like that, But when someone drops it, it's like, yeah, man, bless it. You know.
All right, let's go into this next one.
Hat, it's on my wall, man. The Hatman hat, it's on my wall, man. I'll keep that there, all the sweat stains and everything, man.
Oh, I love it, bro. I love shit
One
like
day
that.
I'll auction it for charity, innit?
Would you ever do a freestyle in that again? Because I've seen a comment.
If it was a fresh version of that hat,
no,
100%.
you could lose the mojo,
Bro,
bro.
it's all brown.
Bro, I swear down, right? Yeah, I've seen, it was on a comment, and it was the top comment. You must have seen it, because it's a top comment on one of your freestyles. And it's like, when Socks lost his hat, he lost his like mojo. That's what he said, bro.
Sit down.
It's like your superpowers, bro.
Yeah, man, I have to put it back on, innit?
All right. So let me give you a bit of backstory to that. So when I was younger, yeah, Socks, he was like, you'd see him about and that. And I remember I used to be, big up Socks, man, lovely guy, but I used to see him about, and when I heard him start MCing Noble, I said, yo, this guy is talented, you know. And not only was he so talented, but he didn't care about what people thought about him. So he would wear like a SpongeBob SquarePants tracksuit and he wouldn't care. And I remember I used to see him all the time, and he started recording and putting out his freestyles and all this. And I went to one place called the Lyndhurst Estate in Erdington.
I know it. Yeah.
When I went to this estate, yeah, the white boys surrounded me. They said, yo, where's Socks? Yo, Socks. Oh, my man's sick. I rate my man. And I couldn't believe it. I said, yo, this guy can tap into a market that has never been tapped into before. So I ended up working with him. And what I'll do is give him like clothes and stuff from the shop. Yeah, be like, yo, wear that in your next video. And he just wear the maddest things. But what he's saying in that clip is that his best times was when he was wearing that stuff. And the fans have noticed that was like an energy thing for him. And he said that publicly. And what I'm saying is, we never finished on no bad terms or nothing like that. I just wanted to allow the music altogether. But look now, them seeds are planted. Man are now, 10 years later, starting to speak about these things publicly. Do you see what I'm saying? So Mitch, you know what I mean? All these people, because I used to say for ages how much I done for Mitch, and because he never used to say nothing, it could seem like I'm lying or something. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So when, I'm just, but I know the work I put in to these guys, Slick Don, Triller. Not to say I help them like musically or nothing, but even with branding and stuff, I was that guy. Them mans could shout me, yo, what should we do about this? Because I knew how to brand things in them days. I knew exactly how to brand an artist, the things it Socks could have, to me, to this day, that could have been the biggest artist out right now with the work rate. Trust me. With the work rate. If he had the work rate, I remember there was a baller called Craig Gardner. He had a younger brother called Gary Gardner. He used to play for Aston Villa and then he played for Birmingham City. And my man used to love socks. Love socks. Love socks. He said to me at his own mouth, whatever's needed, whatever amount of money, whatever's needed to get his career going, I'm willing to do. We were going to do a USB. We were going to release his album on a USB. And he was going to fund the whole thing. And it was going to come out on a USB. My man had all kind of, trust me. So it's one of them, Noble. It's one of them. But and with Express Truth as well, we birthed a lot of this podcast stuff too. You know that, Noble. You know that, man.
Yeah.
They'll start talking. It might take 10 years, though.
That's it. That's exactly what it's gonna be. That's exactly what it's gonna be like, sibling. But you know, those who know. Those who can think, actually, wait a minute. Wasn't them man's doing that from like 14 and shit, 15?
Yeah.
But, yeah. It's all good, man. It's all like, this is what it's all about, isn't it? This is what it's all about. Sometimes, as I say, it's great to get the recognition. It's great for people to publicly say things, but ultimately, like, the information, the structure, all of this is for public consumption, isn't it? And it's about people utilizing it, whether it's for entertainment and to you know, just to give them a little bit of a boost, whether people are literally going to dissect things and like, yeah, man, I'm going to utilize that, or let me just research that you know, that Mark dropped or that Noble dropped. It's all about utilization of said material, man. You know what I mean? It's something that I'm so positive in doing, man. I'm so proactive in doing. I'm not just here for that kind of car crash entertainment. That's not what we're here for, man.
We're not here for that. We're here for that long lasting. Because when you really check it, a lot of the stuff we were creating back in 2015, 16, 17, when you look back at that content now, that content has done really well. But when we were creating at the time, we was like, yo, but if you look back on most of that content, because it was Masvidal who shared that show, that thing we did, you know.
Yeah.
It was Masvidal that put that on Facebook, that took that to them heights. So imagine some UFC fighter somewhere is locked into us commentating on some fight. you get what I'm trying to say?
Crazy.
It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So, yeah, man, it's mad. It's mad. But we keep going, man. The future's bright. The future's bright. Even right now, like, because even like, it's easy to get lost when you're doing like stuff like this. It's easy to get lost and start even saying, this is getting a bit. You know what I mean? It can become a bit mentally draining.
Yeah,
you know that it can take its toll, man, in certain times.
Yes.
But it's when you get when people start to understand, and you see people getting success, even like with Mitch, and I look at it and he's telling you, like, yo, that was the start for me, and that's important stuff, man. But yo, no, but we have to. When I tell you I'm depleted, you know.
Riggedy, man, you've been dropping some heavyweight jewels, sibling, man. Thoroughly enjoyed the build, man. Thoroughly enjoyed the build, and trustfully everybody else has. We went some high, some low places. We've definitely unpacked that flipping that youth, and trustfully, you know, he can hear this himself and think, raw. Got some real good fucking points, man.
Yeah, man, we'll have to get this clipped up. And on the socials, man. That's it, people. CFR, Express Truth. We're back in the building. And we'll be back next week, people. That's it.